Greetings everyone, my name is Raven Moore, and today we're going to discuss how I made my first short film, Critical Failure, a Dungeons & Dragons tale. In short, Critical Failure is a whimsical take on what happens when the dice betray the Game Master, the person who runs a typical D&D session, during the most crucial part of an adventure or campaign. It follows the player characters, Hazira the Mage, Scar the Barbarian, and Grezit the Thief, all taking their respective turns taking down the evil sorcerer Yarrow. This idea spawned from a first-hand experience I had running a boss encounter for my home table of players, and the Barbarian and Rogue just steamrolling through this wizard before even giving him a chance to defend himself. This made for a very relatable and hilarious inspiration for this story. So when I started planning out this tale, I took a look at the actual party I wanted to see running through this fictional encounter first. Then get to know those players, and then build from there to get to know the players controlling those characters. After that, I thought about what scenes I wanted to include, mainly introducing the players, setting the scene for the combat encounter, and running through that encounter as close to a real session of D&D as possible. Building from there, I made my storyboard, which was essentially a poorly drawn still of a shot I wanted on a sticky note, essentially this beautiful guy right here. And then doing 6 sticky notes in a row with 4 total rows. That way I could have each still or sticky note be a max of 10 seconds of footage, staying within that time frame of 2 to 4 minutes. This method of storyboarding helped me make setting these scenes a lot easier once I wrote my final script. I think the hardest part of this was finding the cast. I had to ask over 25 people to play the roles of Robert and Grant, and I ended up finally casting them the Sunday that the week 1 assignments were due. Finding talent in a small town, let alone talent who's interested in filming nerdy student films, was a feat in and of itself. The most fun part of this entire project was actually shooting the film, and I'm sure that's probably been said multiple times over. The inside location was really easy to just hammer out each shot, and it helped that Logan, who played the role of Robert, and Scar the Barbarian, was also a film student who helped me find my ideal camera angles before shooting. The hardest part of this was filming at the outside location. We arrived at the site and we thought, honestly, the weather was going to drive us out. We were dealing with wind speeds up to damn near 30 miles an hour. But thankfully, when we went deeper into the woods, the trees acted as sort of a wind barrier, giving us a little background noise, as little background noise as possible before we began to record. Through all of this, I think I've learned a little bit more about translating writing to film, and also just how to allow myself to be more weird and whimsical on camera. I'm particularly proud of the transition at the end of the film, where Derek throws his dice across the room and then immediately cuts to Yarrow, the sorcerer, getting dropped to the ground and the party just stomping on him to death. That scene in particular was just really cathartic for me as a DM and as someone who just loves watching people beat up wizards. It made me feel more comfortable to be free to make weird and very silly choices with my writing. I think the best and biggest lessons I've learned from this are time management and tenacity. There were a lot of obstacles that made it hard for all of us to get things done on time, and I feel as though I made an honest effort to push through to make this happen, while also keeping my cast motivated to continue moving this forward. I think setting up a tight schedule pushed me to experience that healthy stress I keep hearing about in certain creative circles, and I think it put me in a very structured mindset while still leaving room for me to enjoy what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I couldn't have done this without Logan or Josiah. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this and making this come to life. And of course to my fiance Ophelia for pushing me to keep moving forward with this project and with my schooling in general. On that note, here is a failed clip of me getting thrown to the ground dressed as a silly old wizard.
Cut. Wig came off.
Is it gonna catch your hair?
Once you're on the floor, is it going to be catching you?
Honestly,